This is Shred, and today you'll learn the true story behind guitar modes. Before time began, Zeus created guitar modes to echo the harmony of the cosmos. Ionian's major tonality symbolized the purity of love, as we can hear in that chord. Now for Dorian, that marked Persephone's descent into the underworld. Can you taste the bittersweet balance of dark and light? Moving on to Phrygian, we've got this just haunting chord. It's like the serpentine visage of Medusa. Phrygian turns your heart to stone with that chilling flat second degree. Brrrr! So cold all of a sudden. Moving on to Lydian, as Icarus flies, so the Lydian mode soars to the sun with its tritone interval. Now Mixolydian, let's try this bad boy right here. Hermes, like the Mixolydian mode, just wants to party all night long. That flat 7 is magical. Now Aeolian, I love this one. The flat 6 took Orpheus on a sorrowful quest to retrieve his true love from the underworld. And last up, we have Locrian. Tantalus' relentless appetite for destruction is mirrored in the devilish dissonance of the Locrian mode. Okay, so what the hell is going on with these guitar modes, right? I want to walk you through this in Guitar Pro, how guitar modes were created. And the reason I start with chords is because that gives you the mood and the vibe. So with that Ionian chord, we've got the root, of course, and then we have the major third G sharp, and this is really important, the major 7th D sharp. I'm basically building these chords based on tendency tones. Whoops, there we go. We're gonna rep the root again, and then I'm gonna hit the 5th B, and then just the open high E string. So that gives us an Ionian sound in one sort of quick harmonic snapshot. And this would just be an E major 7 chord. Now the scale that's derived from is E Ionian, and this is where we're used to starting with guitar modes, right? You learn the scale, but there is this dual component of having the chords that a lot of people miss out on. So we've got E and F sharp, then we're going to move up to the major third there, G sharp. A is the 4th degree, B is the perfect 5th, C sharp, don't make me get sharp with you, is the 6th. Then we run up to that major 7th before we're back to E. And this is the E Ionian mode. Okay, Zeus did in fact create guitar modes, by the way, that's a true story. And next up is the Dorian chord. So that Dorian chord that I played a minute ago sounds like that. And it's just the most magical, bittersweet thing you've ever heard. So what I'm actually playing there is this E minor 6 sort of sound. We got an E and a G. And then I've got a raised 6th degree. That's an important tendency tone. The clash against the D note there is just delectable deliciousness. I cannot get enough of that. Then we're going to move up to the A, which stands for ass. I think we all know that by now. So check that out. It's about just setting the tone with an emotion. And this is more or less some kind of like E minor, let's say E minor 7, add 6, whatever. You know, you just, it's about a color, you know, it's about a flavor, a spice, a taste. And the scale that I'm deriving those notes from is in fact E Dorian, which is the root, E. Then we have the major 2nd. That moves up to the minor 3rd, G. And then we're going to hit just the 4th, 5th, standard procedure, raised 6th, very important, shares that in common with the major scale. Whoops. the D. Give me the D, son. And then finally, we're back to the root E. So this scale is E Dorian. And it is, in fact, a bittersweet sound with that sort of dark and light combination. Next up, what is next? We have Phrygian is next. What the hell did I do for Phrygian? I think it was this. It's negative 69 degrees all of a sudden. I'm chilled to the core. That's what it feels like when Medusa makes eye contact with you on a first date. You turn to stone. So this chord, always starting with the P word, or a pedal tone bass. And holy shit, what am I even playing here? So I've got basically an F chord over E is what's happening. And what is this? Maybe, yeah, boy. And then, is it that? Yeah. Okay, that is just, so if you think about it like this, there's just an F major triad, but then when we put those E pedal tones around it, it just springs to life with this incredible haunting quality. And honestly, yeah, okay, that works, Guitar Pro. I think I'm going to say, though, F major, major 7 over E. And that really brings out this Phrygian mode quality. Now, what I'm going to do is show you the scale that comes from. And of course, we have the root, flat second, very important. Minor third G, the fourth A, the fifth B. We got a flat 6 here, C, the C word, and then we have the 7 and back to the root. So this is the E Phrygian mode. Okay. This is a total game changer, by the way, if you can learn to conceptualize of modes in this fashion. You're going to be way ahead of the game if you're interested in composition and theory and songwriting, because very few people, at least in the guitar player space, see modes this way. Now we're to Lydian, the Icarus, flying to the sun. He flew too close to the sun. He burned off his wax wings. Never do that. So this chord is essentially an F sharp major chord. And what am I doing? Yeah, I love that voicing. So you have an F sharp major chord over the E pedal tone. And we'll just call that F sharp over E. Come on, Guitar Pro. We don't use flats. It wanted to call it G flat over E, but that's not how we roll as guitar players. Flatted keys are terrifying. They're very scary. So the scale of E Lydian, you start with the root. Always rep the root. Then we go up to the second, F sharp. Then we've got the third. Here's the magical tendency tone, which is A sharp. That one is the delectable tritone up to C sharp, and then we're going to hit a major 7th E sharp back to the root. So this is E Lydian. Lydian stands for light. It's all about hope and triumphant, let's march forward into the future with optimism. It really transcends you to a higher plane of existence and feeling. Okay, what's next? Mixolydian. Hermes wants to party all night long with this chord. Now, I've never played that chord before, like yesterday when I came up with these. Very interesting sound. You got the root, that raised 6th, clashing against the magical 7th, the 5th, the 3rd, or wait a minute, the 4th and the 3rd. So there's a lot of half steps in there. Yeah, so that's 16 and then 12. That's the D notes. Give me the D, son. Open B. And then having that third on the top is, it's a bold move, I'll be honest. Imagine reading this, looking at that without the tab. Even the tab is a mess, but when you see modes as chords, you can come up with voicings that no one else has played, or at least plays commonly, and that gives you a unique sound. And a lot of playing guitar or any instrument is about setting yourself apart. And B minor 13 over E. All right, Guitar Pro. You know what? We're just going to call this E Mixolydian. It's basically a dominant chord of some kind, but just for the sake of our purposes here, we're going to do that. So we got the root, we got the second, we got the major third. This is the same as Ionian except for one note. We got the 6th degree, and then we have the flat 7th. There it is. That's the magical tone. So this is E Mixolydian. There we go. And we're marching right along here. Next is the sad and sorrowful Aeolian mode. Listen to that chilling chord there. Absolutely love that. So when Orpheus descended to the underworld to find his true love, that was the soundtrack. And that basically is, you know, it's really just a C major chord over that E pedal tone. Oh, yeah, there it is. Out of me, demon spirits. So we'll call that C over E, and that's really a good way to rep the Aeolian sound. So Aeolian is spelled like this. You have E, F sharp, and then G, that minor third. We're going to go up to the perfect fourth, A, fifth B, flat 6 C for the C word, and then we have the flat 7 back to the root. And that is E Aeolian. Let's get that in there. Great sound if you just broke up with your girlfriend or something tragic has happened in your life. Use the Aeolian mode to cleanse yourself with a cathartic release. Okay, we're to the last mode here, and this is Tantalus and his appetite for destruction using the Greek mythology theme. It's always good to have a story behind what you're playing. It's going to flesh out more of an emotional response when you write music, and that's the business we're in when we play music. We're trying to get people to feel something. Okay, so this chord is an E minor 7 flat 5, really, and we'll just flat that shit. What am I doing here? And then we're, up to the root there. Then I've got the third. Then we've got the 7th and the open. I think that's what we got. So that's actually a fairly stock voicing. This is the most stock voicing I played in this entire lesson. E minor 7 flat 5. Okay, so that chord comes from the Locrian mode, which is spelled E, F, which stands for Frankenstein likes fudge. And then we've got the G, third. And then we got a flat note here, actually, which we're going to do like that B flat, minor 6th degree, flat 7, back to root, done. That is E Locrian, as they call it across the pond. And there you have it. Now you can learn more about music theory and composition with my live class. I'll put that in the description below. It is so much fun. We just met last night, and we're going through all these exotic scales and writing our own short compositions that are 30 to 60 seconds long. They each have a storyline. This week is the Lucifer scale, and we're talking about the story when Satan was kicked out of heaven, and we're composing the music to tell that story. Can you make people feel strong emotions, or can you relate to Satan being kicked out of heaven? You ever felt rejected before? Book a video call with me for details, and if you have any questions, put them in the comments below.